So one of the biggest problems that we identified is that most people don't know what to say when it's time to reach out to somebody because it's been a while. And so we end up not doing it, or pushing it away, or procrastinating on it. And so the 5 freebies is basically one of the best, most powerful concepts we came up with solving that problem in the short term. The reason it's so powerful is because all of these 5 freebies are ways in which you can interact with people with whom you have a relationship already without needing to have any big reason or any grand idea of reaching out. They are very simple, easy to utilize, universally accepted ways of touching people. So a great way to get started when you're trying to manage mindshare management with the right set of people in your network. There are 5 of them, and I want to walk you through them real quick. So the first one is one of my favorite ones. It's the classic, right? It's been a while ping, as we call them. It is an email you send saying, hey, look, it's been a while since we've reached out or talked to each other, and I wanted to reach out. Maybe we should have coffee. Maybe you can shoot me some information, what's happening in your life. And the simplicity of that is so powerful that it actually gets used a lot. And that's why I also call it the bottom feeder approach, because really it's not very skillful. But while I'm dissing it, it is an absolute valid approach. If you can't think of anything else, use that, right? The problem with it is you can't use it every 3 months, right? Otherwise people all of a sudden hear for the 5th time that it's been a while. They will know you're getting programmatic on them, and it might have a negative impact on the perception that they have of you and the relationship. All right? So, having said all of that, use it when you don't know better, because the rule is very simple. Any interaction, as long as it's not negative, is better than no interaction, right? We want to stay top of mind. So, do this. But there are a few freebies that are, I think, way more powerful, and the next one is a very powerful one. It's the one about saying thank you, right? And hey, you've heard that 1,000 times before, but I would argue the way we think about this here at Mind Maven is slightly different. Saying thank you is a completely accepted norm in how we, behave in our society, but that norm brings us to do it when it's most expected. For example, we say thank you right after somebody did something nice to us. Very rarely do we do it 6 months after. And when you do it 6 months after, it is unexpected, and because of that, the bang for the buck that you get for this interaction is very, very powerful. And at the end of the day, all we are interested in is finding a good reason to reach out. Now, when you think about this concept, the reasons of why you have to say thank you don't have to be huge. They don't have to be earth-shattering. They can just be lightweight or simple. It could be things like, hey, thank you for being a good friend all these years. Or, I was thinking about what you've done a year and a half ago this morning, and I just wanted to let you know I still appreciate it. Thank you, right? So, things like this, when you send that message out, people almost always appreciate it, because who doesn't like that? And who doesn't love a person who has long-term memory about things that happened that were very positive in that relationship? Super simple. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is a very powerful one, because it's got this very, very counterintuitive concept to it. It's about asking for help. Right? And what is counterintuitive about it is when you ask for help, it looks like you're the one who's getting value, but in reality, the person who you're asking is getting just as much value, if not more, because it feels good to be asked for help. Specifically, if you're very senior, if you've basically have 10 or 15 years of experience in your business and you go out, ask for help, it actually feels very good to those people that you're doing it, because it means that you are valuing this person's opinion quite highly. So there are 2-3 ways in which you can go about making this relatively easy and usable. Number one is that you just look at that person and ask yourself, well, what is that person good at? What does he know? And how does that relate to the challenges that I'm currently trying to solve, or the objectives I'm chasing right now? And in most cases, if you know that person well enough, you will come up with a way in which you can ask him for help that actually is genuine. And that is important because, of course, we need to know that the person needs to feel that this is real, right? That you're not just doing it as a reason to touch them. So that's opportunity number one. It is sort of ad hoc, developing it in the moment when you're looking at that person. Spend some time thinking about him, about your relationship, your history, his expertise, what you are interested in. And I would be absolutely surprised if you couldn't find something that you could ask him for help. The second way of doing that is a little bit more powerful because it's a little bit more streamlined. And the idea is to have at any point in time 1 or 2 or 3 themes that you are trying to basically get better at, that you want to become an expert in, that you think for whatever you're doing you should know better, right? Most of the people I work with, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're one of them, believe in the concept of ongoing learning, of lifelong learning. And if you do, well, who's better than these people in your network to help you learn something new? So if you have 2 or 3 themes, be it newest way to structure recruiting in an efficient way, or be it I need to understand the ramifications of small business stock tax impacts as they might have changed lately, and on and on and on. Figure out what those things are and then see which of these themes the person you need to reach out to could actually help you with, and then you reach out asking for help. And the reason why that is so powerful is because people actually enjoy being asked for help, as long as you don't do it completely transactional. All right? And don't hear me, don't listen to me, right? Most of you guys have heard that quote of Benjamin Franklin before, right? It's if you want to make a friend, ask for a favor. Now we're going to get to the fourth one, and the fourth one is indeed a challenging one. Most of you guys will probably instantly go like, I reject that. But hear me out for a second, right? Because the fourth one is about apologizing. Apologize to this person, right? Because if you apologize for something, it almost always feels good. It almost always brings people together, especially if it's done in a genuine and meaningful way. And if you have a relationship with somebody, you will almost always have an ability to apologize for them, for something. Because we're humans. We screw up. We do things in a way that we feel we could have probably done better. Right? So this is exactly how you have to think about it in 2 ways. Number one, it's very lightweight. Don't think about apologizing for some massive things you've done. That's not necessary. But very often there are smaller things you've done, lightweight things you've done that that you can easily apologize for, because it's not that big of a thing to apologize for, right? The second example is to basically not only apologize for the lightweight things, but for example, to apologize for the state of the relationship, right? So an example of that would be, and really easy one, I would argue the fact that he or she has not heard from you in a while, and because of that you are trying to use one of those freebies, gives you a reason to apologize. Hey, I was thinking of you this morning and I realized I have not reached out to you in a long while and I feel bad about this. I actually wanted to apologize because I don't want you to to think just because I'm not in touch with you, I don't care about you, because I actually was thinking about you and how much I actually value the relationship we have. And so I figured I should shoot out an email to you to let you know I care about you and to apologize that I have not reached out to you in a while, right? Super lightweight, but feels very powerful. Another way to look at it is maybe you've done something not quite optimal in the past, right? And so you can look at this in ways of saying, well, what could I have done better? So even what you did is perfectly fine and actually doesn't warrant a apology. Why not say, I could have done better and I apologize for that. I feel bad. I should have done this, right? And that actually doesn't put you out or put you as the bad person. It puts you out as a person who's actually striving to become better and a more meaningful person to have a relationship with in some way or other. So I hope, even though you probably rejected the notion, I got you a little bit closer to trying that out. Try it out. It actually is one of the most powerful freebies we have. Now, let's get to the one that I absolutely love and I think is the most energizing one. And I would argue actually the easiest one. It is to send somebody a signal of appreciation, be it a compliment, be it a commentary about how you feel about them, obviously a positive feeling like I like you, and just doing that, because I am assuming that the people that you put on the list are people with whom you actually do have a relationship with. And as long as that relationship is there, you should be able to come up with some very lightweight, easy ways to appreciate that person. You know, starting from the simple comment of, hey, I was just thinking about how long we know each other and how much I appreciate you being my friend or being in my world. One of the things I appreciate most about you is, and then, you know, fill in the blank. And when I say fill in the blank, what I mean with that is be as specific as possible. Why? Because the more specific we make a compliment or a comment of appreciation, the more genuine it feels. It will feel more real than, hey, you're such a great guy and I love you, man, you know, and you're the best. While that feels still good, it often kind of misses the mark. But if you say, look, I appreciate you because you have a certain wisdom that you bring into my life that very often I have appreciated a lot, and it helped me a lot through some tough times, especially during the challenges I had when I had to let go of my longtime business partner. That is specific, that works, right? And I can almost guarantee you, most of you guys, whoever you put on your list, you will be able to come up with a way of appreciating that person. And that leads me to one most powerful concept of relationship marketing, and it's called positive alacrity. And what positive alacrity means is nothing else but implementing one very powerful habit. And that habit is, when you think something positive about a person, about a situation, whatever, whenever, and you genuinely believe it, simply voice it, simply bring it out. That's all you have to do. Positive thought, recognize that thought as a positive, test if it's real, because you have to stay genuine. That's the golden rule in almost everything we do. And then just simply voice it. We don't do this nearly enough, and people appreciate hearing positive things. It's actually where the law of attraction comes from, being positive genuinely, right? And so that last freebie forces you to do this a lot more. And this habit that I just offered up is a habit that I want you guys to basically implement in your day-to-day life, because the way people will perceive you will fundamentally change if you start increasing the frequency in which you are sending positive messages out to the world. It will be one of the most powerful things you can do to make your network really appreciate you, and therefore having these people want you to be more successful. A great way to get further on the path of reaching your fullest potential.